That's okay. We need some juice.
68th game as a head coach.
I'm an emotional guy, so there were a few tears here and there, but it's been an exciting ride up to this date, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with it.
Like the human exclamation point was like the best way I've ever heard Travis described in my life. I think it's like such an accurate statement. Unbelievably supportive of each other in both of their outlandishly successful worlds.
Yeah.
You're hearing how like she fully understands why Travis is like an incredible human being.
Taylor Swift's world is never short on drama. Easter eggs are a little chaos. First up, Swifties are zooming in at Travis Kelce's restaurant, convinced they spotted yet another nod to Taylor hidden in the decor. And then, things got fiery on the field as Kelce clashed, again, with Andy Reid in a heated sideline blowup. Next, the NFL hit Kelce with a $14,491 fine after an obscene gesture went viral. Meanwhile, Adele's rumored Super Bowl halftime takeover could crush Taylor's NFL dream. But Taylor fired back with a glittering announcement. Her new Showgirl movie and album are coming October 3rd. And finally, flashback. Why did Taylor and Harry Styles really crash and burn after that infamous Caribbean getaway? So, Travis Kelce opened a fancy steakhouse with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and of course, Swifties are already treating it like a scavenger hunt for hidden Taylor Easter eggs. The spot's called 1587 Prime, basically the Chiefs' version of Hogwarts, except instead of wands, you get overpriced cocktails and prime rib. Naturally, Taylor and Brittany Mahomes were there for Patrick's big 3-0 bash, along with Donna Kelce and Randi Mahomes doing the ultimate mom squad dinner. But here's where it gets juicy. A photo popped up of Donna and Randi holding little keepsake cards from the restaurant, featuring cartoon girls in Kelce's old jerseys. One had rosy cheeks, red lipstick, and a sparkly headband. Within seconds, Swifties were in full Sherlock mode, zooming in like, yep, that's Taylor, no doubt. Others weren't convinced, though. Some swore it looked more like Donna herself. So now the internet is basically arguing over whether Travis honored his girlfriend or his mom with doodle art. Talk about a family feud. And if the cartoon mystery wasn't enough, the drink menu had everyone buzzing. Each of the crew, Kelce, Mahomes, Taylor, and Brittany, got their own signature cocktail. Taylor's? The Alchemy. Same name as her track off the Tortured Poets department. Coincidence? Please. This is Taylor Swift we're talking about. Nothing's ever accidental. The drink's basically a fruity science experiment. Vodka, berries, lime, and oolong tea to keep it classy. If it doesn't taste like heartbreak and Grammy nominations, I'll be shocked. And speaking of things not going down smooth, Kelce's Sunday night was less prime ribbon cocktails and more burnt toast and black coffee. The man found himself once again in a shouting match with none other than Andy Reid. Yes, the coach with more sideline patience than a kindergarten teacher on juice box duty. Except this time, patience was not on the menu. The Chiefs were dragging against the Giants, and as Kelce trotted off after another flop, Reid lit him up like a dad who just saw the car dented. Instead of nodding and walking away, Kelce snapped back, chest puffed, voices raised, and turned into WWE SmackDown Coaches Edition. And get this, Reid actually bumped into Kelce mid-rant. For a hot second, everyone thought we were about to see the 67-year-old throw down. Flashbacks immediately hit fans who remembered their infamous Super Bowl spat, when Kelce hip-checked his own coach and had to be restrained before he accidentally turned the Lombardi celebration into a boxing weigh-in. This time, no teammate intervention required, but the awkwardness was loud enough for NBC to replay it about 50 times while commentators tried to act like it was totally fine. Spoiler, it was not fine. By halftime, the Chiefs were barely scraping by with field goals, while Giants rookie Cam Scadaboo decided to play like he'd been in the league a decade, dropping touchdowns like party favors. Chiefs fans at home were in full meltdown mode on social media, throwing around doomsday takes like KC is done and Kelce looks checked out. Honestly, some of them sounded like they were writing obituaries for the whole season. Meanwhile, Reid tried to downplay it in his interview, saying something about needing juice, which sure is one way to describe your star tight end screaming in your face while you both nearly topple over. At least the Chiefs clawed out a 22-9 win, though Kelce's 4 catches for 26 yards weren't exactly headline numbers. And just when you thought the Kelce drama couldn't get spicier, the NFL came in with the receipts. Literally. Turns out, while Travis was busy serving WWE vibes with Andy Reid, he also racked up a $14,491 fine for what the league called unsportsmanlike conduct. Translation: he made a not-so-subtle crotch gesture after a 23-yard reception against the Eagles, and yes, the cameras caught every millisecond. Forget spiking the ball. Kelce basically spiked his dignity on national television. The play itself was smooth. He snagged the pass, tore down the sideline, and then bam! The man celebrated like he was auditioning for a middle school locker room comedy sketch. Within minutes, the clip was on social media, looping endlessly while fans debated whether it was hilarious, embarrassing, or both. Some even said the gesture had more yardage than the play itself. NFL officials, of course, were not laughing. They hit Kelce with that oddly specific $14,491 bill. Why not just round up to $15K? Well, nobody knows. Maybe that extra $509 is the league's way of saying don't ever try this again. And Kelce isn't alone in this week's bad behavior tax. Saquon Barkley got slapped with a whopping $46,371 fine for lowering his helmet into a chief safety like he was charging through a medieval joust. So yeah, Travis might have embarrassed himself, but at least his wallet isn't bleeding as hard as Saquon's. And speaking of wallets taking a hit, Taylor Swift's big NFL dream might be heading for the same fate as Travis's fine: derailed. For months, Swifties have been convinced their queen was destined to headline the Super Bowl halftime show, already building fantasy set lists and imagining Levi's Stadium turning into a giant Eras Tour stop. But now, word is, Adele has entered the chat. Yep, the hello powerhouse who once swore she'd never touch the halftime stage is apparently circling back like, actually, maybe. If she locks it in, she'd become the first British woman ever to headline, making history while also casually crushing Taylor's hopes in the process. Insiders say Adele was originally offered the gig back in 2017, but laughed it off, claiming she couldn't dance, and the Super Bowl wasn't really about music. Suddenly, the NFL is eyeing her again, probably because she can belt a note so hard it could drown out a stadium full of screaming linebackers. Plus, she's no stranger to the scene. She showed up at the Super Bowl with her fiancé Rich Paul, but admitted she was only there for Rihanna's halftime set. Imagine being Rihanna's opening act fan and then getting asked to be Rihanna's replacement a couple of years later. Wild.
Apparently, the NFL has approached Adele about doing the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Bad news is she wants to debut a new song that disses Drake.
But Adele's not the only name being tossed around. Miley Cyrus is apparently in the mix, which would guarantee at least one twerked-up moment that makes Grandma gasp. And then there's Metallica, who tease their own interest, which feels like a bold pivot. Nothing screams football like shredding guitars and pyrotechnics that could singe your eyebrows from 3 zip codes away. Meanwhile, Swifties are still deep in Easter egg mode. They swear Taylor's sourdough baking obsession was a coded clue because the 49ers mascot is literally named Sourdough Sam, and the upcoming Super Bowl just so happens to be the 60th. 60% sourdough talk? Super Bowl 60? Coincidence? Not if you've studied Swiftie math. Even NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell fanned the flames, saying she'd always be welcome before doing the classic commissioner move, smiling, shrugging, and passing the mic to Jay-Z. And while Adele might be warming up her vocal cords for the Super Bowl, Taylor is already owning another stage, this time a literal one, but in cinemas. Yep, she just dropped the bomb that her brand new flick, Taylor Swift: The Official Release Party of a Showgirl, is about to hit theaters like a glitter cannon. Mark your calendars, because October 3rd to 5th is going full sparkle mode worldwide, the exact same weekend her next album, The Life of a Showgirl, struts out. Talk about efficiency. Album and movie in one shot? That's peak Swift strategy. The poster alone is a vibe. Taylor in a jaw-dropping red costume with a feathered headpiece so dramatic it could probably pick up Wi-Fi. She hyped the announcement to her 282 million Insta followers like she was personally sending out prom invites, except instead of a corsage, you're getting the world premiere of her new video, The Fate of Ophelia. Oh, and don't forget behind-the-scenes chaos, lyric videos, and a play-by-play breakdown of what inspired her latest bangers. Basically, it's Swiftie school, and attendance is mandatory. Of course, she's not stopping at watch and leave. Nope. Taylor straight up told fans to dust off their Eras Tour outfits, or even the infamous $70 orange cardigan, and treat this like a party. Dancing in the aisles? Encouraged. Singing at the top of your lungs? Expected. Popcorn flying like confetti? Probably inevitable. And speaking of fans lining up for tickets, let's rewind to when Taylor's love life was the hottest ticket in town. Yes, we're talking about her whirlwind with Harry Styles. Back in 2012, the world basically lost its mind when America's country pop princess teamed up with Britain's cheeky boy band heartthrob. It was like Glee fan fiction had come to life. Central Park strolls, holiday getaways, and enough PDA to fuel Tumblr for a decade. Harry was calling her lovely and amazing, and Taylor was glowing like she'd just written You Belong With Me Part 2. But then came the Caribbean trip from hell. What was supposed to be sun, sand, and pina coladas turned into the relationship equivalent of a Titanic iceberg. Taylor got spotted leaving solo, stone-faced on a boat, while Harry stayed behind, probably trying to charm the customs officer. Insiders swore the couple had an almighty row. Translation, the kind of blow-up where even the seagulls were like, yikes. And just like that, the Haler era ended mid-vacation, with Taylor jetting home and Harry still sipping coconut water. Of course, the breakup theories went into overdrive. Some whispered it was Harry's wandering eye. Apparently, the guy couldn't even grab coffee without making it look like a rom-com audition. One picture of him kissing a so-called friend goodbye popped up. And let's just say it did not scream casual cheek peck. More like hands in the hair paparazzi gold. Harry even gave Taylor a heads up about the photo, but she wasn't buying the just friends pitch. The girl was already feeling like she was dating a guy who treated every sidewalk like a runway of options. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.